Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another video. And in this video, as you can see from the title and the thumbnail, we are talking about a Carmelo Anthony build. I really wanted to make a Carmelo Anthony build, and specifically the reason why is because obviously my buddy that I make a lot of templates for, he makes his builds off of specific players, and this year he wanted to make a Jokic build. So if you guys remember my Jokic build video, that's kind of like my template that I made for him. Then I decided to upload it because it's actually really good, really solid. But ultimately, I decided I'm going to make a dynamic duo for every single one of his players that he made, because why not? I already had Caruso for his SGA. I already had my LaMarcus Aldridge. And I'm just like, okay, well, he's got Kawhi. So makes sense. They both played on the Spurs. And then I made Steve Nash for his Amari. And obviously, I needed a big man for Mo Pete, which I'm working on. And then also, we also have now Melo to play alongside Jokic, the 15s, man. I figured this would be a fun little duo to have and everything. So that's the reason why I have this Melo build. But how good is the Melo build? Well, I'll tell you right now, some of these cap breakers are absolutely insane. So you want to stay tuned and wait until the end of the video to check out what all the caps look like, because man, I'll tell you, the caps are kind of crazy, kind of insane. So let's get right into it. Obviously 6'7" is kind of like your best case scenario when it comes to height this year, especially when you're trying to decipher whether a 6'7" is going to be better or a 6'8" is going to be better. When you're kind of in this little realm of height and everything, it just really comes down to what you want your cap breakers to be really, really great at. Because ultimately, if you go to 6'8", some of your cap breakers are going to be lower than they would be at 6'7". So you kind of have like the best case scenario of being just 6'7" for the sake of some of those cap breakers. And especially where there was somebody, I think, recently that also made a Carmelo Anthony build at 6'7", that, they talk more in depth on it and actually show off the differences in between the 6'8" and the 6'7" version when it comes to the cap breakers and everything like that. So you can easily try and get that comparison as well through them. But this particular version of the build is pretty solid. I feel like this is my version that I came up with, because I'm like, you know what? I don't want to have like a 72, like so low of pass accuracy to get like a 72. I don't need an insanely high driving dunk to have like an 87, 89 out of the gate. And then also it's like, I still want to have a little bit of rebounding. I don't want to have, too high of rebounding, too low of rebounding, but obviously I wanted to have a decent amount of rebounding just in case I have to play the 4 on this build, which I've had to play in the 4 on this build last night because, obviously I brought this build out already. I've been playing on it. It's been a lot of fun, and the cap breakers are really, really insane because you see some of this stuff over here on the right side, especially with the defense, and you're like, actually, this build is kind of shit. Why would you make your defense this low? Cap breakers, my friend. Cap breakers. Cap breakers are really, really good on this build. So let's go ahead. Let's talk about everything here, though, real quick about all these attributes. Because we have an 80 close shot, we have an 80 driving layup, an 85 driving dunk, a 50 standing dunk, and an 85 post control. Now, obviously, we're not going to have too much when it comes to your close shot or your driving layup or even your driving dunk for that matter. Because obviously when it comes to your driving dunk or driving layup, those two specifically are just going to be +1s. Or I think the driving layup is all +2s if I'm not mistaken. It could be all +1s. I would have to like relook because I was mostly focused on the driving dunk aspect of getting that 87 driving dunk to get that silver posterizer, which you need 2 cap breakers for. Ultimately, you could use 4 cap breakers to get to the 89. That is always an option. And then, use some caps on vertical because you get some okay caps on your physicals, obviously. It's nothing really too crazy when it comes to some of the caps, but obviously some of the cap breakers that we are looking for in our physicals, we can just still get pretty easily here, especially like in the strength category. We'll talk more about that in a minute. So yeah, nothing really else too crazy there, because obviously once you get to 75 vertical, 87 driving dunk, which I said you need 2 cap breakers for because it's going to be +1s on your driving dunk, then you're able to get that silver posterizer, so that's pretty good. Our driving layup, if you can get to the 75 on your driving layup, you get that silver layup mix master. That could be pretty solid as well. Ultimately, you do have only a 50 standing dunk, but with cap breakers, you should be able to get that increased. You should probably get that at least to a 72, if you use like some pretty good caps on it. So you can at least have rise up on bronze to help out. And then, with the 85 post control, I feel like this is really, really solid because you're still able to get some pretty decent post control on this build. So ultimately, get to like an 87 post control to get that post up poet on gold. And ultimately, as you can see, you're not really going to get anything too crazy with the upgrades because post fade phenom is only gold, and you cannot even get to the 90 on the 90 mid range on this build in particular unless you wanted to drop your wingspan down. And just to show you guys what happens if you drop your wingspan down, because if you drop your wingspan down, then you ultimately can get to a 91 on your mid range, as well as an 85 3-point rating and all that stuff. So nothing else really too crazy happens with this in particular. So you can go with the 6'11" if you wanted to. But ultimately I just went with the 7-foot wingspan just in general, because obviously I'm still able to keep that 83 3-point rating to 89 mid range, which are still pretty good break points. And I really am not too worried about the post fade phenom, ultimately because it is gold, so it is still pretty solid. And I don't really have to grind it out at all because I already have the gold rebirth, so don't need to worry about it. But ultimately, you can get post powerhouse upgraded, you can get post up upgraded, you can get hook specialist upgraded, so you can get those few badges upgraded at least. So pretty solid stuff there. Speaking of the mid range though, the 89 does give us that set shot specialist on gold. You have post fade on gold as well, 50 on silver, deadeye on silver, pretty good stuff there. And then the 83 3-point rating does indeed give us that limitless range on bronze, so you can ultimately be able to shoot from distance. And yeah, you can still shoot from distance, especially if you have the sharpshooter takeover. You don't necessarily need deep bomber to shoot, super long distance, especially like I don't even have limitless range and I still shot a very deep logo shot with the sharpshooter takeover ability. So that just goes to show that you really don't need limitless range or deep bomber to be able to shoot from deep. Obviously, if you want to guarantee that your green window is going to be the size of the green goddamn giant, then yes, you can ultimately, try to get a super high 3-point rating to try and get deep bomber, as well as, at the same time, you'll get silver limitless and all that. So ultimately, you could do that on most of your builds. I don't think it's necessary though. We have the 83, which gives me bronze limitless. I just need sharpshooter takeover because at the same time, it also helps you get shots up for the dribbles, the shot off the dribbles. So yeah, it's gonna be the best case scenario there for somebody like Melo. We also have an 83 free throw. Nothing else too crazy about that, but we do have the 83 free throw. And then our playmaking, I wanted to have a little bit higher of a pass accuracy, but ultimately, no, we're just not able to have as high of a pass accuracy that I was kind of hoping for if I wanted everything else to be exactly where they are. So we just went with a 75. We can use some pretty good caps on it to try and get it upgraded. Ultimately, if not, just use one cap on it to guarantee versatile visionary on silver. That's all you really need. But ultimately, you can still get up to bailout on bronze, dimer on gold, stuff like that as well. But we do ultimately have the 86 ball handling on our playmaking, man. The ball handling is godly for a reason. And the reason for that is ultimately we do have ankle assassin on silver. We have handles for days on silver. We have strong handle on gold, which we use one cap breaker on our strength, and then we can easily get that to Hall of Fame. So we can have Hall of Fame strong handle, which is God tier as well. And then unpluckable, obviously, on silver, which we're not really able to get upgraded. As you can see, we only get to a 91 ball handle. And then also, as you can see, we only get 95 post control. Is that a situation of, yeah, so no matter what we try and do, we're just kind of 1 point, just 1 point below the necessary requirement for unblockable and gold. But ultimately, yeah, +1s and +2s for a reason here. So there's that. So yeah, so nothing really getting upgraded here besides strong handle when you get that one cap breaker on strength. And then handles for days if you really need it, and get to a 90 on your ball handling, get handles for days on gold. That'd be pretty solid, but ultimately it's not really necessary at all. And then our 75 speed with ball, I feel like it's good enough. I mean, you could get to an 80, as you can see here. 75 is the break point. So ultimately, the break point for speed with ball being a 75, pretty solid. Interior defense, though, we have a 74 interior, 74 perimeter, we have a 67 steal, and a 46 block rating. Oh, God, I know people are yelling at me in the comments for the block rating. Chill out. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Let's check out those cap breakers here, and then you'll see what I'm talking about with having this low block and the low steal. So chill out for a minute. But yeah, the 74 interior ultimately does give us that post lockdown on bronze. I feel like that's really the only thing that's necessary for it. So the 74 interior, get that bronze post lockdown. And then we also have a high enough interior for the sake of paint patrol, but we don't have the block. Off ball pest on silver, at least. With perimeter defense, we have a 74 perimeter, which gives us challenger, on ball menace, pick dodger, all on bronze. And then we do have silver and movable enforcer. At least we have that, as well as off ball pest on silver. And then for our steel rating here, we do have a 67 steel, so that's good enough to get glove on bronze. That's pretty much what the right point is bronze glove. We also have bronze interceptor, but ultimately we should be able to get this upgraded with cap breakers, if I'm not mistaken. Ultimately, I do know that the block rating is going to be pretty good with the caps, but with the steel rating, we do have a 67. So even if we don't get tons of good caps for the steel, at least we can utilize some of them to try and get at least interceptor upgraded to silver. So that would be pretty solid there. The block rating being a 46, ultimately we don't have the block rating to get high flying denier or paint patroller, but like I said before, ultimately we do have a ton of good caps for it, so that's going to be really, really good to take a look at. And rebounding, we have a 70 offensive rebound with an 80 defensive rebound. The 80 defensive rebound does give you rebound chaser on silver, as well as us having box out beast on silver as well. I just need a few caps to be able to get the badge upgraded to gold. If you really wanted gold box out beast, be able to rebound a little bit more, ultimately up to you. In our physicals, we have an 80 speed, a 75 agility, as well as us having strength at an 83 with silver brick wall, silver movable enforcer, silver physical finisher. We have bronze post lockdown. We have silver post powerhouse, and then we have gold strong handle. So ultimately you can use some cap breakers to get some upgrades, specifically post powerhouse and strong handle. Getting those two upgrades there would be really, really nice, especially if you plan to use the post up a lot, especially on like smaller wings. That would be really, really solid. And then you have that strong handle badge as well, so you're not getting bullied so easily, especially when you have the 86 ball handling and everything like that. That would be pretty solid. So ultimately, some really, really good stuff there. And then the 75 vertical, we do have pogo stick on silver, posterizer on bronze. We do have the vertical for rise up in high flying denier. And then we only need a +2 in order to get pogo stick on gold. So there's that. That's pretty much everything when it comes to this particular build and the attributes. If we actually do take a look at the shades of, we do have the shades of Glenn Robinson from the all-time Bucks. It's pretty easy to get Glenn Robinson, though. He appears frequently in the small forward position, almost like Cooper Flag for a lot of stuff as well. But then we do have the 16-17 Knicks Carmelo Anthony. So this is kind of like a mixture of like attributes from his 16-17 Knicks version, as well as like his all-time version as well from the Knicks and the all-time Nuggets as well. So all kinds of different variations of Melo came together for this one version. So there's that. But ultimately, we do have the high flying mid post creator with our go to badges being gold set shot, gold aerial wizard, and gold post fade phenom. So we're able to shoot consistently on those set shots. We're able to, catch some lobs, or, finish some putbacks. And then the post fade phenom, ultimately, we're able to hit up that post up, hit the post fade in that mid range. Pretty good stuff there. Our top attributes being mid range shot an A minus, ball handle at a B plus, and driving dunk at a B plus as well. With our strengths being mid range sniper, knows how to make space, fearless finisher at the rim, keeps balance through post moves. With our weaknesses being not a steals guy by any means and won't be blocking any shots. But obviously, those will change. I'm gonna go back to that build and show you guys what the caps look like. All right, man. So we are here, and as you can see, we have some pretty decent cap breakers. Like I mentioned, just needing 2+1s here for the driving dunk. And then you have like some +2s up here for close shot, the +1s for the driving layup, all that stuff. But then you have like some +3s and +2s here. So you ultimately have like a +10 available for 4 cap breakers if you do post control. And then ultimately you do have a 6, 6, 5, 5, and 4 here for standing dunk. So that's an option. And ultimately, like I said, you're not going to get anything too crazy. I mean, +2 for vert. You just need +1 for strength. We do have some +2s here for agility, nothing else too crazy here. We got some +3s and then a +1. So we ultimately have another +10 here for your defensive rebound. But you ultimately just need 2 cap breakers to get that 85. You get to an 86 rebound here. So that's pretty solid. And as I said, man, you get some pretty crazy cap breakers here on the defensive end. And yeah, ultimately +3, +3, +2. That's ultimately +8 right here. And that gave me a 74 to an 82. So that's pretty good. Then I have like another 2 that I can use to get to like to an 84. And ultimately I can just get to like an 86 if I really wanted to here. Just for the sake of me being able to get, um, you know, not only just challenger, but on ball menace and pick dodger as well. We do have +11 right here, man. +11, +8, +7, +6, +4. Come on now. Come on, man. And then you have another +6 right here for your steal. And this one +6 right here, this one cap breaker immediately gets you to the 73 that I was talking about. And then ultimately you have another 4, 4, 4, and 3. There's just a lot of insane cap breakers here, man. And then ultimately a +4 and then another +4. These 2 cap breakers gives you a +8 to get to that 82 interior for the sake of post lockdown on silver. Absolutely insane, man. I don't know what else to tell y'all, but these defensive cap breakers on this build will turn you from like an offensive, like a well-rounded offensive kind of, menace to a two-way monster, man. You're going to be a two-way behemoth with these cap breakers. And as you can see, I've been playing on this build, so I do have 5 cap breakers, and I put some cap breakers on. As you can see, I only upgraded it to like an 86 to start playing on it in the rec. And let me tell you, it's been a big blast. As you can see, I've also been grinding out some VC. I'm up to 6,000 right now. But yeah, we have a ton of crazy shit on this build when it comes to your standing dunk, your post control. You have, some okay pass accuracy stuff here, with the +2, +2, +1, +1, +1. So you're not able to get an insane increase. You're not able to get up to like an 85, but ultimately you do have at least a +2 here to start with. So then you can at least get to that 76 versatile visionary if you really wanted to. That's an option. That's always an option. You have that +1 available for strength to get that strong handle, so that's really all you need there. You have some agility stuff here if you really need the agility, the rebounding ultimately if you're going to play the forward. But man, look at this defense, man. Look at the defense. Ultimately, I feel like defense specialization is going to be the best case scenario for this. And obviously, if you're like me and you have other builds to grind out certain specializations, ultimately, I feel like having a big man is going to be the best case scenario for these, for the defensive specialization. So, yeah, if you have the defensive specialization kind of like finished because you have like a big man that you just grind it out with or whatever, I feel like this is going to be the best case scenario of doing the defensive specialization on this. But yeah, I feel like this is great. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. I mean, these cap breakers are kind of insane for this build, but let me know what you guys think of this build in the comment section down below. Make sure to leave a like, comment your feedback, comment any requests that you have, and I'll try to get to them. I know I have a few requests that I've gotten for specific builds recently, and I do have those builds good to go in the actual builder, but I feel like, yeah, I feel like I should probably upload those soon. But regardless, we do have them and they're ready. So yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. It's going to be it for me. I'll see you all in the next one.